99.1 CKXS Saturday morning is here. That means it's time for the All About Real Estate show with Pete Allaer, who joins us in studios now. How are you today, Pete?
Good, Greg. How are you?
Excellent. Another beautiful day. We've had such great weather. Been outside enjoying some of this.
Yes. We've been pretty lucky with our weather, haven't we?
Oh, man, crazy good. And I would think that normally this would spur things up to do some sales of houses, but you've been busy through February and January this time around, right?
Yeah, we have been busy. I mean, things have been selling so quickly, it hasn't really mattered the weather. As soon as something comes up, it's gone. But I think this will spur. Our phones seem to be ringing a bit more, and there seems to be some people that have been, in the winter hibernation mode that have now kind of came out, and there is some talk of hopefully some new listings coming. So
good. Well, I see that the downtown Chatham condos are now renting, which is good, and hopefully that opens up some houses, maybe people that are utilizing those. So, but today I know you wanted to talk on the kind of the first time buyer and maybe kind of helping that young buyer with finances and how that all works.
Yeah. So I sort of was gonna call this, some 101 financial advice for a new home buyer, first time buyer, maybe some of the younger people that are hoping to get into the market,
right,
and even maybe some of the people that are hoping to upgrade, if something comes up. And I get a lot of conversations going with people about, more than just financing of their house, right? So we quite often will discuss things about what other purchases, do they make or have they made or are they looking to make? The one thing your home is something, your house that you're buying is kind of a priority, right? So I always encourage the people to, maybe put off buying some of the other items that you think
you want. The toys that
you
would like to have, get the house done first. That's good fatherly advice is what that is, really.
I guess it is, right? I'm a little old-fashioned when it comes to the taking on debt and an example would be your down payment, let's say, right? So houses are more expensive, so the 5%, 10%, 20% is more money.
Right.
However, it just still, like the CMHC, for example, mortgages are 10% or less, which are okay, but, and I think we've talked about this before, there's fees associated with those.
Right.
So you've got upwards to, if you go to a 5% down, you're paying 4% fee. So you're really only putting 1% down.
Right.
So
better to have more money in the bank so that. And what do you got to have to beat the
CMHC?
Yeah,
you have to have 20%.
20% down in order to not have to worry about those fees.
Then you don't have the fee, right? So, and I understand that 20% is a lot, but if you can, let's say right now you're looking to buy a house, and you can't find one because they're selling so quickly.
Right.
Well, now's a good time maybe to try to sock away as much as you can, try and get that down payment as high as you can, even though a lot of times, and I understand it, the banks will say, oh, you don't need as high a down payment, and, but just be aware that if you're putting less than 20% down, there are fees associated to that. The other thing too, that let's say you are in a house and you are in a mortgage and you're looking to upgrade, quite often the banks will discourage you from putting money down on your principal because they say, oh, well, their interest rates are so low. Well, that is true. However, when your interest rates are low, your payments are lower, it's actually the best time for you to put more money down and go directly onto your principal, so that in 5 years, if now let's say you have a 1.75 or 2% 5-year mortgage, very low interest rates, your payments are sort of a little lower, more of your payments going to principal. If you could put down, whatever, even $5,000 a year, $10,000 a year on that principal, well, then in 5 years, if all of a sudden, let's say the rates are up to 4 or 5%, your payments aren't going to go from $700 to $1,200 a month because you've pulled down that principal,
right? Principal, right?
And maybe now is the best time to do that because your payments are, let's say, slightly lower. Or if you're looking to upgrade, you say, hey, I can't find a house yet. I'm going to put some money down on my principal so that in 3 years or in 2 years or whatever, now I have more equity in my house. Now when I go to get my new mortgage, I got a bigger down payment.
Right.
Maybe my second house, I can go over 20%, right? So these are all things that you have to do and you have to plan out. And that's why when I speak to some of these, we'll call them kids. And
younger buyers.
Yeah, and it doesn't even, sometimes it's not even kids. Like I deal with people that, are doing this and they're in their 40s. But, I just suggest to them that, you do as much as you can, early to get the principal down so that you can, in fact, upgrade and grow and or your first home, if you can buy it with a higher down payment, your payments are, your principal's lower, your payments are less. You can buy
or you can keep your payments the same and pay it down quicker, but you don't have that CMHC financing charges to it.
I think it stands for Canada Mortgage and Housing Corp.
That and RRSPs always seem to confuse me for some reason, and it comes out RIP, and I'm resting in peace on my RRSPs. But it's good advice there, and I think one thing that you touched on too that I think is really smart, and I'm married to a financial planner, is that buying the house is key first, and keeping minimal credit cards in your possession. One credit card is enough. Once you start getting the gas card and 2 or 3 credit cards, and that stuff, it takes away some opportunities for you for getting your loan and getting your mortgages done. So do that. And you mentioned the toys. If you're buying a house and you're young, I know the toys are really attractive, but maybe borrow a friend's snowmobile or ATV for a while until you get your house, because those things add up too, right? Because those are expenses that you have to pay off, and the bank looks at all of that stuff. So that's dad advice from Greg over here.
And I think too, what happens, and credit is everywhere, right? So
it seems so easy. We'll give you credit for that too, but there's a price to pay.
No, I know, and I think you walk into Leon's and you put your couch on credit, put your TV on credit. You walk into Bob's Motorsport and put your snowmobile on credit and put this on credit.
And those things are there for a reason, not to take, not to slam those things. That's not what we're doing.
No.
Is that, but sometimes you do need that credit, and it's nice that they have that available for you. But if you've got the money and you can pay for it, then do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Or if you're going to purchase these things, just make sure that you realize that, okay, where are we in priority here as far as, okay, and can we afford this? And
let me ask you this question. If, let's say I need furniture for the house that I'm buying, would you suggest for them to put a bigger down payment on the house and then finance the furniture, or should they pay for the furniture up front and have a larger mortgage?
So if you look at strictly well, chances are the furniture, a lot of it is no pay for whatever it is.
Which is a good deal.
That's However, you have to remember that day will come, and you got to make sure you got the money, or else you will be paying
Then you're
interest.
paying a high interest.
My suggestion would be to buy the house, and, depending on their financial situation, but put a down payment on the house, buy the house, and if they know for sure that, yes, in 3 years I will have $5,000 to pay for that furniture I bought, great, awesome idea. That's great. If they're not sure, call grandma and call mom and Uncle Joe and say, hey, I need a couch because I just bought a house. And maybe for a year, sit on an old couch. You probably did it. I did it.
It's all part of starting out, right?
That's what I'm saying. So you got to look at the whole financial picture and say, well, your house is probably a priority. So let's, let's get that done. And then once we get that done, I'm not against someone buying, it's great to buy new furniture and a new car and a new this and a new that. That's awesome.
Right. Well, hopefully that helps out our first-time buyers, our young buyers, as we say here on the All About Real Estate show. We'll take a little bit of a break here. Pete Allaer's going to come back. We're going to talk about some listings. We're going to get into that.
We have a listing here that I can mention.
We'll touch on that coming up here next year at 99.1 FM CKXS. 99.1 FM CKXS. All right, back with the All About Real Estate show. Pete Allaer is with us today here. By the way, if you have questions in regards to last week's show that involved the mayor talking about development and all of that stuff, certainly reach out to you if they've got some comments or questions about that stuff, right, Pete?
Yeah, absolutely. And I would encourage, even like what we talked about, in the first segment here, if you're a young buyer, or if you're sort of thinking about doing something, reach out to me. I have no problem. Give me a phone call. You can find my number on our riversite.com website. Give me a call, and I can sort of go through some of these things with you. And, I'm happy to discuss, some of that stuff. Same with like the stuff we talked about last week on that show. I'm happy to fill you in on what I've been trying to accomplish.
Right.
Sometimes you bang your head against the wall, and eventually, I guess, you get through the wall with a bit of a headache. But
that sums it up.
Yeah, but we hopefully are moving somewhere with that.
Cross your fingers. Hopefully, we'll see some growth.
And like I said on that show, that I'm vowing to the people of Walsburg to not leave it alone until something happens, because I think it's a huge need in our town here for development. So I keep pushing, and I encourage other people in town. If you feel the same way, reach out to the councilors and say, hey, like, what are you doing? What's happening?
Mm-hmm.
What can we do? What like I think if we all have to get behind this movement of getting some development going here, right? We see it everywhere else. So
we need it. Absolutely
need it.
Yeah, agreed. All right, let's take a look at a listing that you have for a potential buyer out there. What do you got today?
Well, it's in kind of in your old stomping grounds.
Oh boy, it's not like my address, is it?
Well, it's not.
Am I finding out the hard way?
No, your
I'm
old stomping grounds.
Okay,
your
my old stomping grounds. Okay.
So in the beautiful little hamlet of Thamesville.
Love my Thamesville peeps.
Yeah, in Thamesville. So it's 62 Wallace Street, Thamesville. Okay, do you know where that is?
I'm trying to picture. Honestly, most of the people in your town, right?
62 Wallace Street, Thamesville. It was actually I don't. It's Fran Martin's listing.
Yep.
Our friend Franny from Dresden. It's her listing, and it was formerly, I want to say, it belonged to the church. So kind of like I don't want to say rectory, but a house that belonged to one of the churches in Thamesville.
Yeah. So you're not talking like the really big house that's in the middle of town?
No. This is 62 Wallace Street.
Okay.
It's, I believe, a 1-floor, 3-bedroom. So it's now listed. So it's available to be seen on our website. And that's the one.
Yeah, no, I don't know anybody who lived there, so that's. But there is that huge house there. I forget what they call that. I don't know what the story is on that one, but that's one of my favorite houses in Thamesville. But all right, so this one's a single rancher.
Yeah, bungalow, 1 floor. Nice place, and it's listed and ready for some young person to move to Thamesville. There you go.
Good stuff. And honestly, you'd have a really good first-hand look of the parade setup for the Thamesville Threshing Festival and the Santa Claus Parade, because they basically set up right outside your house.
Yeah, that's what somebody told me that.
Just so you know.
Because we were asking where it is, and I think that's exactly how they explained it.
Right across from a school. That's a good little
nice
area.
Spot.
Yeah. So that one's for sale.
That one's
Fran
for sale.
Martin, it won't be for sale long.
No, Fran will have that in and out. Yeah, no, it's that's our hot listing for this week, and like I said earlier, hopefully we'll get some more coming. If you're thinking of selling your house, now's a great time. I mean, we have lots and lots and lots of buyers, and prices are hot. Market's hot, and I just keep saying, if you want to sell, it's a great time. Tough on buyers, but if you want to sell, it's an awesome time.
Okay. All right. That's the All About Real Estate show for you this week with Pete Allaer from Riverside Realty. Of course, the information, check out their website, give them a call, track them down today, and they'll take good care of you. And we'll talk to you next week, Pete. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Okay. Thanks, Greg.